Hey everyone, welcome to Tech Talk. Welcome to another episode of Tech Talk. It is your girl Shanika, the Lab Girl. I am excited to do episode 2 of Tech Talk, and excited for our guest that we have today. And let's just go ahead and run down disclaimers like I always do. First things first, this is a live show, so things can happen. So if you hear me pause real quick, or I need to let my dog out, anything, you guys know how that goes. So it's a live show, so anything can happen. So just be patient with us, and any type of audio issues that you guys may hear within the broadcast, just let us know in the comments down below, and we can definitely try to go ahead and fix that. So I don't want to keep our guests waiting for too long, but let's go ahead and catch up real quick. First things first is, let's see here. It's been a minute since we did our last Tech Talk, and I'm super excited because the last Tech Talk, you guys love that episode. And if you ever want to be on the show, it is an awesome way to display and give your opinion and give. We want to see, how you are as a lab tech. We want to hear your experiences as a histotech, as a lab tech, as a lab professionals. It's not just limited to histology, histotechs, or histotechnologists. It is for any lab professional. So if you would like to join Tech Talk, then that would be at my email at thelabgirlcircle@gmail.com. And let's welcome all of our new subscribers, supporters. We are on our way to 1,600, and we could grow a lot faster if I just downloaded tons and tons of content in the algorithm. But you guys know how life is, so I just really appreciate you guys supporting the channel and what we're trying to do here. And we are growing in our own lane, so I'm super excited about that. And yeah, I don't want to keep our guests waiting for too long. So we are going to bring on our guest. Her name is Susanna. And if you have any questions for her, feel free to put that in the comment section down below. And we'll go ahead and get started with the live. So let me go ahead and bring Susanna onto the show. Hey, Susanna.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. How are you? Long time.
Good. Well, welcome to episode 2 of Tech Talk. I'm so excited to have you here as my guest today. I'm just going to basically get to know you. I know the community would love to get your input on how you became a histotech, what was your journey like, and a lot of things that I would like to learn with the community as well. So I'm super excited to have you on my show. Thank you so much for being part of Tech Talk episode 2. And if you have to do anything like go away, go to the bathroom, anything, you already know, just to put your emoji on, and
Yeah.
we can mute it for a little bit. Boom.
Cool.
Or good. So if you guys have any questions for Susanna, please feel free to leave it in the comment section down below, and we'll get to the questions at the end of the stream. Or if you're not able to watch the stream live today, you can actually ask any questions, and then we'll go ahead and answer it in the next video. I'll definitely do a follow-up video for both of our Tech Talks episodes. And yeah, let's go ahead and get right into your questions. Uh, so Susanna, again, we are so excited to have you here. This is my second episode, and I'm so excited that you reached out and you said you want to be a part of the show. I think it's an awesome thing because we need to have different perspectives when it comes to not just only my perspective, but just different perspectives when it comes to you being a histologist or any type of lab professional. Like, I would really want to hear what your journey was like and how you decided to get into the field. So the first thing is, how long you been a histotech? Let's just start with the general stuff. How long have you been a histotech, and what state are you a histotech in?
All right. So I'm a histotech, obviously, in good old Indiana, the Midwest. Gotta love it.
Gotta love it.
Actually, I'm sitting outside right now because today is decent weather.
Good.
It's The sun is out, which is crazy.
It's been raining here, so I'm
Oh,
happy you got the sun literally just came out like 2 seconds ago.
yeah, it's been out today, so it's been nice. It's
That's
nice
good.
at least for a little bit. But I've been a histotech. I got certified in 2021. Um,
Oh, fairly new.
yeah,
Okay.
fresh. So I think I took my test in August of 21.
Okay.
Started working as an actual histotech in November of 21.
Okay.
So
Also doing like sort of like doing COVID.
yeah, so I actually decided to go for histo during COVID. I started school, yeah, in 2020.
Mhm.
So that was weird already, just off the bat.
Was it online or how
Yeah,
was that experience for you?
my program was all online, and then we had like our clinicals that you had to do at like an actual site. But I got
Right.
lucky because I already worked at a hospital, and they were able to have me be their student and let me
That's
use their lab
good.
clinicals. So it all worked out.
Now, the lab that you did your clinicals at, is that the same lab that you work at today?
Yes,
Oh, cool.
it worked out. I'm telling you, the timing was perfect. Um,
Good.
they had an opening. I started school, and they're like, "Okay, we'll hold that opening for you then until you get out of school, and then you can jump right on the team." So it was nice because I got to know everyone while I was
Mhm.
a student, and then got to work with them as an actual histotech. So it wasn't like doing my clinicals at one place and then my first job, I'm a completely new person. Have to
Right.
learn all that over again. So that was nice that I was actually able to start my job there.
I think that's really cool that I'm talking with you because I know when I was in my clinicals, a lot. Well, we had a very small class, but at one clinical site, it could be somewhere between like maybe 5 to 6 students
Wow.
at one time. So it's kind of I feel like the competition was really high to try to actually like secure a job right during your clinicals because everyone at the lab knows that the student wants a job. Like it's sort of like, hey, let me just do my best. I want to get this job. But
Mhm.
I think it's good to talk with you because I was a student who I didn't apply for the job because I was insecure, thinking like they're not going to hire me or, I don't even have my license. What made you feel confident enough to how did you secure the job while you were still there? This is really good like interview because I do a lot of interview tips. So
Right.
how did you maneuver to be able to secure a spot for yourself before you actually left that site?
So my clinical liaison, my teacher, pretty much
Mhm,
at the clinical site, she works in the department, obviously, and so I think just being a good student, you know,
mhm,
showing up, coming to do your practice because you would have to come outside of work hours and do
mhm.
your practice cutting and bedding, do your specials, everything you had to do for school. I
Right,
think saw that I was always on top of it. I was never, she didn't have to call me and say, "Hey, when are you coming in to practice? I haven't seen you in a few days." Like
right.
doing. So I would take the initiative. I think it's all about taking the initiative,
Mhm.
getting your stuff done on time. I wasn't waiting to the last second for projects, anything.
Right,
And I would volunteer, like if I work an earlier shift, I'll come after work. Sometimes I'd come before work. If I'm off the weekend, I would stop by, on Saturday and get some hours in of practice. So I think
right.
it kind of helped everyone see that I was willing to put in
To
the
see your potential and
right,
what type of histotech that you were gonna be.
right,
I think, it's kinda crazy because as a student, you can look at that a little like, oh my God, like she's doing the most, or she wants to be, but you just literally had a goal and you went after what you
right.
wanted, and you knew was the job market at that time you thought probably was going to be a little tough for you to get a job because I'm not really sure how many what's the competition in Indiana. Do you normally see a lot of jobs posted in Indiana, or what did you actually really like love the facility and you saw like qualities in that facility before you started just saying, wanted to apply there?
Right. So in the area I live in, it's really only, there you can work at the hospital and be a
Right,
his or we have like another lab that's just strictly a lab, not a hospital, and they do work for a lot of different hospitals.
right.
And that's kind of really it in my area. And
Mhm.
I know a lot of the times the postings like for jobs from that other facility would just be like midnight shifts.
Right.
And I was
Torture.
not in the slightest
Torture.
yes, I was not. a midnight person. Yeah, it just wasn't going to really work out for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of made it a little easier to pick where I was going to work, but it helped.
Okay.
Everyone there was really nice. You know, they were really friendly. They were willing, just the techs in general, not even just my clinical person.
Right.
Everyone there was willing to kind of help, or if I was having any problems, give me tips, different things. So,
Good.
you know, they were accepting and easy to be around and easy to ask questions. So it was
That's cool.
an easy choice.
So it pretty much did you this is crazy because I'm really like I'm not even like getting to your actual questions yet because I that which is crazy because it's like to hear your story and that's the reason why um I didn't want to ask you everything from the moment, from the jump, because I want it to be as authentic because I love the fact that you are here telling your story and not just from my perspective and what happened, how I got into the game. But I just feel like it's really cool because this is everyday real life and just your situation, which I've seen so many students do. Everyone's situation is going to be different. So it can be as easy as you need it to be, or it can be like, you know what, like I look for jobs over and over and over again. I couldn't find one. But the fact that you already had this plan
Right.
from the jump and when you was in your clinicals is, I think that's awesome.
I really think
Um,
that's how I know it was meant to be because everything kind of fell into place as it was.
good,
So
good.
it was kind of the sign that I was along, like on the right path.
Now, were you in the medical field before you started, or did you thought about, getting into histology? Because like a lot of us in this community, we stumble, that's the word I like to use. We stumble across histology like, oh, what can I do? I don't want to be a nurse. I don't want to be this, that,
Right.
and the third, like patient care direct. Like, what can I do behind the scenes? And
Yeah.
are you a type of person that you stumbled across this?
So when I was doing my undergrad, because I have a bachelor's in biology.
Okay.
So doing that, I kind of knew I wanted to be in the lab.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know like what positions were in a lab. I hadn't really been
Me
exposed
either.
to anything like that. So
Right.
out of college, I ended up just applying for like a specimen courier.
Processor. Yeah. Or the courier or the
Yeah,
specimen processing?
no,
The
the courier.
courier. See, I love it. You're so like me. I'll get into that. Okay, but go ahead. Go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so I
I
started there
see where this is going.
just part time, and then I ended up moving into like kind of registration related,
Okay.
like
Okay.
desk, which I loved. I didn't think I would like it, but I loved
Right.
it. And one day I was kind of just like, I kind of want to go back to school. I
Right.
don't know for what, but what can I do while I work full time, like online or something like that, so I can still
Right.
work my job. And I just went searching one day and stumbled upon
Humble. Right.
HISTOTECH, and I was like, wow, I've never heard of this. It's
Right.
it's in the lab. It's something I want to do. Like maybe I should go for it. I should apply to the school. I have everything I need from
Right.
my grad, and yeah,
Did
so
you do did you do route two whenever
uh,
you applied?
I I can't remember the routes. Sorry.
Since you already, because route
But
one
yeah,
is like you needed to be like go to the accredited school. Um or route two is if you already had like all your credits.
right.
But never mind, you did the program too. So
Yeah, so
okay.
it was they were like in the program you could either do the certification route and just get
Mhm.
a certificate, or you could do an associate's degree and get an actual degree out of it. Um,
Okay.
and so I ended up just doing the degree because it was like the difference was a summer class, and
Okay.
if I'm already doing it, I might as well just get another degree out of it. Um,
Right.
so it was just a year for an associate's degree.
Yeah. That's how long mine was too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went that way because I already had the science credits and stuff. So it wasn't, I didn't have any additional classes I needed to take. So
Cool. So it pretty much worked out. Whenever you saying that you was gonna do a courier, I remember like I had passed my test and I was just thinking like, okay, I don't know where I can, work. So I was actually gonna apply for like some kidney dialysis
uh-huh.
place. I don't know. I forgot the name of it. It's in Florida. And then and it was like, this isn't like histology. And I'm like, yeah, but it's sort of like you still get specimens. So
Right.
I was just trying to do anything I could just to get in that lab atmosphere. So it's one of those things to where it's like, if you know that this is, I'm not sure about you, but this career change was going to be very pivotal, like in my life, like financially, and just take me to a different level. I was going to do whatever I could to
Right.
just get in that surrounding
Yeah.
until I actually got,
Yeah.
a histology job.
Foot in the door kind of thing.
Foot in the door. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people start out just, as long as you're in it, you can kind of make your way through it and get
Right.
to be. So that's kind of what my goal was. Not specifically to be a histotech when I
Right.
first, but that's where it ended. And hey, it
And
worked
you're
out.
here and it
Yeah,
worked out.
right.
So in your lab, well, the first thing is let's just talk about how did you were you always subscribed to my channel, or how did you find my channel? Because I really don't know. I like to ask people, like, I know a lot of people say, hey, my professor told me about your channel, or because I went to school in Orlando and it's Kaiser University, so a lot of Kaiser students watch me, or I just try to figure out exactly like how someone found my channel, other than the fact that I know they probably just typed in histology or histotech. So I like to see exactly like, did you find my channel whenever you saw the Tech Talk episode 1, or were you always a subscriber of mine? I just would like to, I like that one-on-one
Right.
personal, you
Yeah,
know,
so I found your videos when I was in the month of studying for my exam to be
cool.
a histotech. I think I looked up like, study tips or something like
Yeah.
that. Because I wasn't, you're kind of going into it blind. You don't know exactly
Mm-hmm.
what you should be looking at. So
Mm-hmm.
look up you came and you had obviously studied
Oh, no, it's okay.
much everything I was looking for. And I was like, this is perfect. So started watching you then and look.
Cool. And
Yeah.
look where we're at now. Okay, cool.
Woo.
So yeah, I'm happy because I don't know about you, but whenever I started this channel, I would look up histotext or histology and things on YouTube. And yeah, there would be like this one lady who's like embedding rat testes or whatever.
Whatever.
You probably know who I'm talking about. She was very informative, but it was
Right.
like 1990. And
Right.
then
We need something updated.
yeah, we need some updated. But I just wanted to be able to, because I knew whenever I said I was a histotech, like no one knows what that is, no one has any clues. So it's sort of like I wanted to be that representation of, just showing you guys like real life, like how I did to study, what I did to study, because like it was very stressful. It was a very stressful time for me to try to
Yeah.
work and go to
Right.
school, or trying to learn something I've never even heard of. I didn't have a degree in, science or biology or anything. That wasn't
Yeah.
my background. So just to learn something totally new, I needed some type of
Guidance.
support, guidance. Yeah. And I didn't have that. So I wanted to become that just for a little bit. So I
Right.
think now that we have progressed, you're going to be that person when they watch this video. You're providing that guidance, you're providing that story, so this is the exact reason why I'm so thankful that you're here, because we need to hear more stories of more people like you and I and
Right.
Casey,
Everyone's
anyone else.
different.
Everyone's different
But we all end up, in the
in the
same.
same place.
So it's nice to hear everyone's kind of story behind it.
I know. Okay, so now I think I can get into the question. So as far as your schooling goes, I know you told me you already had a background and you went to school. Like, how would you, if you could rate your program from 1 to 10, like what would you give your program? As far as like if a student was in your area, if they wanted to attend histology, a program, what would you rate your actual school? You can shout out your school if you want to say the program name or the school, but what would you give your school? As far as a rating, and how would you think that they improved your life, your career path, and what would be something that that's your program could probably like work on?
Right. So I went to a school in Indiana, of course. IUPUI, if anyone knows.
IUPY, baby.
It's in Indianapolis, which I live nowhere near, but like I said, they're online. So
Right.
you can live anywhere and go.
Was it cheaper? Because I know during COVID everything was online, and I think online courses probably was a little bit cheaper, or less, less expensive to probably go online, and probably good so you can be able to work and still go to school at the same time. So did you find that very helpful for you, that you was able to do it online and be able to still maintain a life?
Yes, 1,000%. I didn't
Right.
have to worry about fitting school into my work schedule.
Hmm.
My clinical site where I worked, I wasn't in this job obviously, but before
Right.
They would let me like use my lunch breaks because sometimes we had to have like a face-to-face Zoom meeting.
Right.
Week. So they were really good at letting me take the time I needed for that, even though I was at work. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it made things really easy because I could just go to work, do my job, do my, my clinicals, go home and actually work on my studying and work on my homework and not have to drive to a different location or whatever.
Right.
So I definitely recommended it to everyone. I recommend
Right.
it. I think it's probably the best way, at least for me, to do a program because I wanted to maintain, working full time and paying my
Yeah.
bills and things.
Paying your bills. I
I didn't
know.
take a pay cut, work full time, like part time instead. So it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Debbie and Carol, they were my instructors. I will shout them out because they were amazing. I've written them back like after I became certified. I wrote them like, thank you guys for
Yeah.
helping me. They were the ones teaching me all this stuff I'd never learned before, I never heard
Were
about.
they histotechs as well? Because I know most of the teachers I know at Kaiser, they used to be, or they were histotechs for like 25, 30 years. Were
Yeah,
your teachers
definitely
histotechs?
experience in the
Hmm.
field. I think one of them was doing some sort of like leprosy program or something. I'm
Oh, like a
unsure.
research?
Yeah, something like that. So it's like they definitely know what they're talking about, and
Right.
we would send in our technical products, mail them over to Indianapolis, who everyone who was in my class, um,
Right.
and they would then like look at everything, post the grades. Sometimes they would upload our slides like digitally, which was nice, so we could
Oh,
actually
cool.
see them and
Hmm.
copy of what they looked like, even though we didn't
Right.
have a product anymore. But they were great. 10 out of 10. If anyone is,
Good.
I
Well,
definitely
that's really good that you're giving them like a great review, because some programs, they'll have everything on track. And then when it's time to do your clinicals, a lot of programs maybe, they're having, especially during the COVID time, it was probably
yeah,
some difficulties trying to find clinicals, and which was understandable
right.
because.
Yeah, and the when I did my program, it was really nice because in order to keep everyone kind of standardized, they actually sent us a lot of reagents that we would need.
Oh,
So
cool.
our clinical site wouldn't have to be trying to scramble to find them if you were having problems or anything. So they sent you a nice like care package, but with
Oh,
everything
that's cool.
semester. So it was really nice not to have to worry about where we're going to get, these
Like,
these
where
reagents.
you gonna get like hematoxylin or eosin or stuff like that.
Yeah,
Where now your clinical site where you work at now, let's talk about that. Is it a manual? Because I know you work in a smaller lab, and I do have videos called, big labs versus small labs, and which one I prefer, or which one is maybe beneficial, like, as far as working in each. I would suggest that someone try to work in both, just so you can see you can get the feel of which one is best for you.
right.
But I know you told me that you work in a smaller lab. So if you can, just describe like your day-to-day process. Like, I worked in a smaller lab, and you and I spoke yesterday. So I understand, like, people think because maybe if you work in a smaller lab, that means you're not busy. And that's absolutely not true, because even in a small lab, if you have 500 blocks, 400 to 500 blocks, and it's only like 2 to 3 of you guys, and like, normally it's more like more lab techs, probably like a couple lab techs. But if it's 2 and 3 of you, two to three histotechs,
Right.
that's like that whole day you have to get everything done. So people think like, oh, well, you're not busy because you only got 400 blocks.
Yeah.
But no, they don't understand that you have to do everything and you finish everything. That's like your routine to make sure you complete everything throughout the day for the pathologist. So give us an example of your day to day when you do have like a 400 to 500 blocks, and how many histotechs do you have in your lab?
Yeah, so I work during the daytime. So our day histotechs, we have 4 total. If there's someone has a day off, we work with,
Hmm.
but either way, 4 at the max. And so we have 2 different shifts. We have the super early 4:30 in the morning shift, which is sometimes hard to get on, get up and go to, but you got to.
Right,
And we have a closing shift that ends at 4:30 p.m. So we have the span of 12 hours to do
right.
our stuff. So the morning shift is more the embedding, the cutting, just the routines, getting everything cut. And
Hmm.
the late shift is the IHC person. So when they come in, they are pretty strictly doing all of the IHC and special stains
Right.
for the day. So we all do know how to do everything, though. I know some bigger labs, they have kind of designated people for each thing. Some people who embed only, or some people who only cut, whatever it is. But
Hmm.
because we're such a small lab, we all do kind of everything. We all know how to do everything. We all can
Yeah.
do IHC. We all know, the special stains. We all can
Mhm.
embed and cut and everything. So it just,
Do you have like a limited, because it's only um like, just say for instance, in when I worked in Reno, on a travel assignment, it was only maybe three. It was only three histotechs, and one person was designated to IHC, but she also did the regular cutting, like the priorities and everything as well. And I just want to know, when it comes to the special stains in the IHC, do you guys have like only like a certain amount of IHCs that you do, like the AE13s or something like that? Like you don't have like probably like a huge panel of them whenever it's just like it's only two techs, three techs. So is it like a standing order for every block, sort of like, that's how it goes?
so we have 3 auto stainers in our lab. Um,
Okay.
and how we kind of, our time limit for IHCs is
Hmm.
we stain everything up until around 11:30 or noon.
Like a cutoff time.
Yeah. So
Okay.
our pathologists, they order from the second they get there and look at stuff. They order
Hmm.
the whole day, but we're only going to stain up until around noon. So they
Right.
if they really need something, today, they can let us know, or they can order it early and they know they'll actually get it. But
Right.
we try to finish everything we can. We try to do everything we can in a day.
Hmm.
Obviously, IHCs, they take a while to stain.
They do.
So
Yeah.
everything has to kind of be done and stained by the time that closing person is leaving at 4:30. So
Okay.
we use our cutoff time as kind of how we're able to get everything done, and how we kind of plan our day as to what we're staining. Because, some like triple stains might take a lot longer than
Right.
just like an HP stain or something. So
Yeah.
it's kind
Okay.
of takes a little bit of planning. Like, okay, if I have these long stains, I'll designate this machine and try to get those
And
on.
put them all on one machine so they
Right,
can pretty much finish in like the short runs.
right.
They'll be okay.
Yeah.
And then do you, as far as like your special stains, do you guys do like your grams manually? Like you guys have like any manual stains, or everything is done like on your machine?
Yeah.
Because that takes more time if you have manual stains with the
Right.
with
Yeah.
automated.
We do have a machine that we use for some special stains, like our GMS
Hmm.
or our PASD. Those, we have a machine that'll do it, but by hand we'll do like our PAS for fungus. We'll do AFB stains.
Right.
The kind of the shorter stains that are only a
Right.
few. We do a gram stain manually, the shorter
Right.
one. Um,
Okay.
yeah, we do at least have a machine. We're thankful for our machine that does
Yeah.
those stains. That's for sure.
I know, because I don't know if if you watch my videos, I do mostly everything manual,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, but I miss those machines, Lord.
Oh, they're the life saving.
Machines are great,
Except when they end up broken or down, out
right?
of service, then we're
And
all
then
like,
you have to like, how the hell do I do a PAS again?
right. Like, we got to get out the instructions real quick. We got books. We got,
Right, you got to put on your protocol and
right. Yeah,
everything.
we're like, all right, go. You go do this. I'm gonna
It,
do this.
it
Like,
feels like you're like in 19,
right.
45 or something, because you're trying to figure out everything.
Yeah. But yeah, we're thankful for the machine. But yeah, so we have a decent amount that we do manually versus by a machine, at least.
Right. Hold on one moment. Let's see. Let me get your next question. All right, I had to get off camera real quick because I had to let my dog out. Okay, so all right, I'll be back on in a couple seconds. So as far as your okay, so we understand your background. We know you work in a small lab. As far as your studying goes, when it came to the ASCP, how was it with your studying? Like, how did you prepare, or what did you do to actually help you prepare for the ASCP? And did you pass on the first time? I know that's a lot of pressure on someone to, like, I got to pass on the first time, but like, did you pass on the first time? And how was it? How did you prep yourself to study for the ASCP?
Yeah, so I finished my program in July. So the first available I was able to sit for the exam would be in August. And so when I went to go register for the exam finally, the one of the soonest dates they had was at the end of the month, like within August. Um, and it was like 3 weeks out from when I decided to schedule my exam. And I was kind of worried because, like I don't really know how much studying would go into this kind of exam, anything like that. So when I scheduled it for only 3 weeks out, I was kind of very nervous about it. How was I going to find all the time to study everything? You do the program for 2 semesters, or in my case, like 3 semesters. But that's over the course of a year. So now I have to remember everything within the next 3 weeks and kind of study it. So I was a little stressed, but I figured sooner was better than later because at least the majority of the stuff was still kind of fresh in my mind, since I had just finished the program. And I do recommend that for everyone. If you feel like you can do it, I would say sooner rather than later. Don't wait. The longer you wait, things start to get a little old. Things, forget little details that you might have learned throughout your program. So, what I did for studying, I used, of course, our beautiful, wonderful Carson
Right.
book, and I had the BOC as well, of
Hmm.
course. The two, those are our things, man.
That's our thing.
That's our
The
mother.
purple. You have the purple, the mother and the daughter,
Yeah,
baby.
those highly recommend those. Um, so what I did was I started off by just kind of reading Carson cover to cover. I just started
Hmm.
at chapter one. Let's
That's
just
it.
dive in, from the beginning. I would read the chapter, and throughout the chapter, anything that kind of seemed like it would be important or
Hmm.
stood out that I wasn't 100% familiar with, I just made my own note cards throughout
Right.
the chapter. And I did that for every single chapter, cover to cover, made all my note cards,
Right.
then spent a couple weeks just going through the note cards, like every day, every time I had chance, I was sitting there on the couch doing my little flashcards.
Right. Did you have did you have anyone quiz you, like,
No,
family members, or you just literally just like, you know what, y'all not gonna know how to pronounce these words
right.
any damn way?
Just myself in my brain, just sitting alone on my book, just going through. Every time I knew a note card, I would get rid of it. And the
Oh, that's good. That's good
right.
advice. Yeah.
So anytime I was getting, wrong, I would ask myself like, oh, what's in, what special stain, what is a stain for, or whatever it.
Right.
And if I'd get it wrong, I'd keep it in my pile. If I knew it finally, I would
You'll
just
get rid of it.
and
So
I
at
it.
that point, your pile started to like dwindle
Yeah.
down because you started to know.
Yeah. And once I felt comfortable with all of my knowledge on my note cards, I finally opened up that BOC and started
Okay.
quizzing myself with those
That's what's
quizzes.
up.
I would go through, I would take the quiz. Anything I got wrong, I would go and like find it in the book or whatever it
Mhm.
was. Like read the little, I think it gives you a little description of why the answer
Right.
is.
Like the little technical notes
Yeah,
or
whatever it
yeah.
was. So anything I got wrong, I would focus on those, kind of read through the textbook again for those specifics. And I just did that for those 3 weeks. That was my life, studying my
So
notes.
how did you schedule for your test? Did you wait till you were comfortable like with throughout the book, or you went ahead and just scheduled it and then you started studying? Because everyone is different, like you said before. So how did you do it? Did
And
you like that pressure?
I don't know. I think it helped because I'm a big procrastinator, which
Me
is
too.
bad.
Me too.
But I scheduled it for like first for the end of the month, and I was like, all right,
Mhm.
it's crunch time. I can't waste any time. I need to
Right.
use all these next few weeks to study. So I think that helped me personally. If you're a big procrastinator,
Right.
having that deadline kind of, keeps you focused.
It keeps you focused. It keeps you like, I think because I am a procrastinator, like I feel like I need to have more time,
Right.
which is weird. It's sort of like if you tell me to be ready at 8, it's like I need to mentally get ready like the day before.
Uh-huh. Like what to do? What do I need? Yeah. So
Like
two types of people.
right. It's just so like I wish I was like that person's like, you know what? Be ready 8 and I'm gonna be like I'm ready 45 minutes early. I'm boom, boom, boom. But
Right.
I am a procrastinator. I am. So I feel you on that. So the fact that you had that deadline, it was so like, you know what? It's all or nothing. I have to make sure I do
Have
this.
no
That's my
time to
fitness.
procrastinate. Right. I can procrastinate
Right.
after I take the exam if I
You
really
had
want.
no time.
Right. So that works for
Jeez. Well, I'm glad it did. Now,
yeah.
as far as any study tips for anyone who's watching, um, what do you think was your hardest chapter that you feel like that you needed to make sure that you spent the most time on?
I would say I wonder if everyone feels this way. Um,
Fixation or special stains?
the fixatives and the special stains. Yep.
Yep.
It's just a lot of details in those, a lot of things to remember. And so I probably spent the most time on those because, it is a lot to have
It
to
is a lot.
keep in this brain of yours. But yeah, I would say those definitely, as long as you are like fully, those things in and out, that's the point you kind of want to be at when you're
Right.
going this exam.
Whenever you're like going in. Now, as far as fixation and special stains, did you on the actual test, did you notice that the pictures that you studied were in the book and um on the test as well? Did you get some of those same pictures?
I'm going to be honest, the pictures on the exam were terrible.
Wasn't they?
They were nothing like what I looked at in the
Nothing. I know. I know.
was yeah, the pictures were they were tricky, definitely.
They were
You
horrible. They need to
have to look
change those
at those
pictures.
pictures, man. The textbook has the most perfect pictures of everything. And
Hmm.
then the exam, it looked like it was from 1922 and they had just come out like with these pictures because yeah, it was bad. It was rough, but you know what?
You got through it.
I passed, so
You got through it. It's so funny because whenever you take the ASCP, I feel like when you pass, it's like these tiny ass little letters that
yeah.
says pass. You're
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, did I
Like
pass?
zoom in your eyes in, like, does
Like,
that say
can I borrow your glasses? Cause did I pass?
I need a microscope to actually see that I
To see that I passed, and you still leave out the place like I don't know if I
right.
passed or not.
I'm like, I don't trust it. I don't know.
I don't know. Um, let's see here. Let's see. Okay, so let's explain for you are fairly a new histotech, and what was some of your obstacles that you think that you faced in the lab whenever like in your first day, your first week? Because we sometimes can forget that we are new, and I sort of like talk about this a lot, like because there's so much pressure, and maybe you work in a great lab and you don't have that pressure, and everyone's pretty kind and friendly, and they're supportive, but it's a lot of places that we don't get that support. And if you're watching me, I'm not talking about where I work at, okay,
Uh,
girl.
she loves you guys. She loves you guys. It's
I
not you.
love it. Right. So if for people who don't have that support, or for people who they feel that pressure as a new histotech before they even, step foot in the door, like what was some of the obstacles that you faced, or what you probably, you got in your own way, like, and then you had to just like, what, let me snap out of it because I'm new. I'm allow myself to be new. Like, tell me some things that can probably help our audience, like, to get over the anxiety of their first histology job.
Yes. It was rough, I would say. The kind of the way things worked out between me getting certified and me starting my histo job, I had about 2 months in
Mm-hmm.
between. And in that 2 months, I was actually working at a different hospital. So I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have time to come and practice, to actually work in the lab. So I was a little rusty when I first started my
Right.
histo job. And yeah, everyone I worked with was very nice and supportive, but I feel like a lot of times we are our own worst enemy. So
Right. Right.
hard for me to kind of be new and not be, cutting blocks as fast as everyone else. I kind of felt
Mm-hmm.
like I was slow. I felt like I was having a hard time. No matter, everyone can tell you, oh, you're doing fine.
Oh,
Like you're
you're doing fine. Don't
new.
worry
Yeah.
about it. Right.
In my own head, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, did I do the right thing? Like, what
Or
if
I
I,
don't want to. I
what if
don't want to ask a question. I want to bother
Right,
them.
exactly. So it was kind of hard. I feel like you have to definitely remember that you're new.
Mm-hmm.
You have to not be as hard on yourself. I was very hard on myself for not being as fast as everyone else,
Right.
or whatever it was. If I made a mistake, I was kind of got extra hard on myself, which is what made it rough. It was my own doing that made it rough. So I know I have like a histology page I follow on Facebook, and a lot of people ask like, what are tips from when you're first starting? And my tip is always and I've learned it from experience, that the quality of your slides is way better than the quantity of your slides. 1,000%.
Period.
Take your time. I know, it might feel like everyone's kind of like, is she ever 20 blocks? Like, what is it? Like, what is she doing? But
20 blocks the whole day?
I know, I swear. No, but I would say the speed definitely comes with practice, and it is just a lot of practice. You have to practice a lot. It's an art, it's your craft. You have to it takes practice, it takes time to get good at it. And so that first, I would say, month within starting my job was my biggest learning that I did when I first started. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about what different tissues needed to come out with better sections, versus
Oh,
free
well, can
or
yeah,
warming or whatever it was. Um,
right,
I feel like you pick that up as you go, especially if you're seeing a lot of the same types of tissue,
mhm,
every single day. You learn different tricks and things, and the speed comes with practice and with
right.
time. You can't rush it.
You can't
You
rush it.
don't want to rush it.
I think that's really good advice. Just like you say, you sometimes you can just get in your own head or get in your own way. And that could be for any job,
Right,
not just where we work at. But yeah, you're right. So like you have to just know like, okay, like they hired me, they know
right,
I'm new, they know I don't know everything, they know I'm gonna be slow, they know
right.
like these are things that are just they're expected.
Yeah, it'll happen. And later on, like a couple months in, one of my coworkers mentioned that I had like some of the best slides she had seen from a
Wow.
histotech.
That made you
Which,
feel good.
yeah, I'm like, if only I had known this in my first month when I was being so hard on myself, thinking my slides are terrible or whatever it was. But yeah, I think you really are your hardest critic, and you are going to be the one stressing yourself out, kind of. So you just got to relax. You got to, know that this is a new thing for you. You're not going
Right.
to be at it out of the gate. It's going to take
Right.
practice. It's very technical,
Hmm.
something that you learn as you go. And, the speed comes as you go. You can't just start rushing at the very beginning, or
Right.
your slides probably aren't going to come out the
They're
best, or
gonna be the best. Yeah.
fake or
I
whatever.
I think too, like I remember my first job, like everyone could be telling you that, oh, you're fine, you're doing good. But when that pathologist,
Oh,
and that's even girl, that's even till today. Like if I do a frozen section
I'm like, don't look
and
at.
it doesn't look to par,
I'd
I'm
be like,
like,
that bone wasn't decaled all the way. I couldn't
no,
get a good section. All
right.
right.
But when it comes from the pathologist, it's like a
Yeah.
jab in the
Yeah.
heart, like,
It hurts extra when it
Because
comes
because
from
because they're because they're going to tell the histotech, and then the histotech is going to tell you. So it's like your peers would be like, "You're new, you're doing good," and the pathologist knows that too. But when like if they know that it's like, yeah, Doctor So and So is saying, let's try to do this, you just like,
uh, uh,
ah,
I knew that slide
I
wasn't good.
know it sucked,
Like,
I knew it.
perfect. Yeah.
It's
Definitely.
like
They order
when you're
recuts, and
looking at it, I know, girl. If you order, and this is the thing, like in my head, especially if you're in histology, it's like you see those recuts coming up. The first thing you think is your slides
yeah.
suck.
I'm like,
But
is that mine? Was it
is that
me?
my, but you know what the funny part is? It just may need some deepers. It just
Right.
may need
Exactly.
labels. It just
Exactly.
may need. It doesn't mean you suck, but that's the first thing that goes
Yeah.
to your head. Like,
1,000%.
who did that? It
Yeah.
wasn't me. And then when you find out it's not you, you like you can take it, you can breathe again.
Like, oh my God. The
The
sky opened up. I feel amazing. It wasn't me.
the poop goes back in your butt. Like I don't know. You like you see me about this
I'm
shit
done.
breaks.
It wasn't me. Thank goodness.
Who was it? It was you, Shanika. Yeah.
I was like, fine, fine. I'll
And
admit.
then you think that they don't want you to cut the
Right.
one
I'm like,
anymore.
anyone else want to do these recuts? Anyone else want to do these deepers? I'm begging. Anyone.
It can't just be, oh, so and so ordered deepers because they just need deepers. It
Right.
has to be like, okay, they need deepers. Like, okay, let me just give them levels. It has to be like, was the block fully
I
faced?
know.
You know,
Anything. I'm like, how deep do you want? Like,
how deep?
hello? Please give me something. Tell me something.
Tell me something.
Give
And
me
then
it.
And that's the thing about working in a smaller lab for people who don't know, the pathologists are right there.
Yeah.
So not only you thinking like he or she's like, this girl cannot cut.
I know. I'm like, I swear everything else was fine. It was just the one block that you got. It was that it. That was it. That was it. Like, I'm
That
good.
was it.
Job
Now,
is
do you guys have any designated like area, like, well, not area, but like, do you guys have a frozen section, or is it there's just like a frozen section room, or like, or you guys get no frozen sections that where you have to go? Because I know when I worked at a smaller lab, we had designated people to go to frozen section spots to do frozen sections. So are you guys like sort of like the same way to where one of you guys rotate and do frozen sections, or is just no all surgicals?
so we do have two rooms that we have cryostats in.
Mm-hmm.
One is where our specimens get grossed in by
Mm-hmm.
the PAs. We have pathologist assistants who
Right.
work at our facility. And they are actually the ones who will help with the frozens, which is nice. None of us help with frozens. I know they used to. Um,
Right.
my one of my coworkers has worked there for like 20 years at least, and she's
Right.
like, we used to do this, but now that they have those PAs
They
between
can do it.
and the pathologist, they do it themselves.
And then you guys get the H&E
Yes.
for those. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. I remember those days.
Yeah.
You had to like pack up everything, then you guys get the H&E for it, and then
Right.
you have the frozen. It was just
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And then you had to do that along with, and that probably helps you guys with the PA doing it because it's only
Right.
like 3 or 4 of you guys, so that it
Exactly.
doesn't take away from your surgicals
Yeah. We can't just run off for an hour when we're busy at
when you're
our job
busy.
to do a frozen with the pathologist. So
Right.
it
That
works out.
makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, Let me see. Now, what I like to do is I would like for you to name a pro and a con of becoming a histotech. It could just be one pro and one con, but what, in your honest opinion, what you think what was like the main pro of being a tech, and what's the con that? Because I try not to focus on a lot of cons on my channel because
Right.
I don't want to discourage anyone, and I don't get paid to. I'm
Right.
not like the tech, like whatever, you
Uh-huh.
know. But it's just like I know how it changed my life. So, and it's not just like a job; it's my career. So that's what makes me proud of that because it's something that I worked hard for.
Yeah.
So what's the pro and what's the con of being a histotech?
I'll start with the cons because it's a very, very simple con.
Hmm.
Cons are my wrist hurts. This all day, it takes a toll sometimes.
Right.
Oh, you'll have weeks that are fine. You feel great. I'm like, awesome. Maybe my wrist is so used to doing this job. Like, I'm good.
Mm-mm.
And the next day, I'm like, I need an Excedrin. I got to fix this wrist pain or
I
something.
think that's a lot of people's cons, the
Yeah.
ergonomics part of it. Yeah.
Definitely. I know like a lot of my coworkers have like arthritis in their hands or,
Hmm.
different things like that. I think that's one of the biggest cons I could say is just sometimes it hurts, man. It hurts
I
to cut
know
the blocks every day. It
it
hurts.
does.
Great.
I
But
know it does.
every job has their cons. And I feel like in terms of cons, it's not a bad one. It's just kind of how it is. You just gotta deal with it.
You just gotta do with it
Yeah.
and
Unfortunately.
put you one of those bandages on.
Right, exactly. But the pros, I would say the pros definitely outweigh the cons. There are so
Right.
many pros. And like you said, you're proud of it. This is your career, you worked for it. And to see your slides come out perfectly when you get that perfect section,
Hmm.
like, you feel it.
Right.
You
You
feel it.
feel it. And
And
you're proud of
yeah,
yourself. Even if you don't get the compliment, or even not even just a perfect slide, whenever you just like conquered the day and you got everything done and you leave for that day, you
yeah.
feel like accomplished.
Yes, every day I feel what keeps me, showing up to work, obviously,
Hmm.
is that at the end of the day, I know that I am a better tech because of that day. I
Hmm.
know I faced whatever challenges it was, but I am, I made it through the day. My
Right.
slides were finished, my stains worked out, whatever it is. I'm a better tech because of it. And you get to just help people. It's really
Right.
nice to be part of like the diagnostic process
Hmm.
behind, someone's problems. It's cool. But
I
I
know.
talk to everyone about my job, even though they might not care about it. But
Hmm.
I,
But listen, they'll care whenever they're in the hospital and they're
right.
getting a biopsy done, and then it'll click.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's what she
Yeah.
does. That's what she's been trying to tell me.
Yeah. So I would say the pros are, yeah, definitely you get to be part of that process. You get to help people without having to directly deal with them, which is
Mm-hmm.
the reason a lot of people go into lab work. You get
Mm-hmm.
to help, but you don't have to be that direct kind of patient care person.
Right. But we're
Um,
very direct with their specimen.
yes, we are very direct with their specimen.
Very, and the thing about, for people who don't know about lab professionals, like, they think we probably do blood or urine or whatever,
Right.
but the fact is, like, we get hold to a very high, like, we have to be held accountable, especially when people's biopsy, because that biopsy,
That's it.
if you ever had a biopsy done, like, it's not the most,
It's
it's,
scary.
it's right. It's not something you want to put on the calendar.
Right.
So, so
And,
you only get that one specimen.
exactly. Versus like blood, you can go back in and draw another tube if something goes wrong.
Right.
Someone
Right.
gets a biopsy. This is it. You can't.
That's it.
This is it. This is the only thing part of it to
Hmm.
have. You need to treat it with care
With
and
care.
be
Yeah.
good at your job for that reason.
Right. I definitely agree. And for our last question, what piece of advice would you like to give my audience, um, on starting their first, well, actually, you know what? Let me switch that. Um, what would your, because you, like I said, you're still, fairly new in histology, and what would, if once you get up to like that 5 year or 10 year or however long you see yourself, um what would you say to another histotech or histology student who's watching this, who hasn't gotten their first job yet, who hasn't started school? Because people reach out to me and they're thinking about, a, a lot of people say, I want to leave, see, clinical lab and come over to histology. Like, why should I do it? Or would it be better? And they trust my judgment. I
Yeah.
don't know why. I don't know.
You are
I
a professional.
a professional, or just I don't know why. But I just don't know, like, what would you say to someone who says, what type of advice would you give them, as far as, like, if you was looking at yourself, or someone says, hey, like, I really want to be in histology, but I'm scared, or I don't know if this is the right career move for me, even though you can't tell anyone what to do. Like, what type of advice would you give, my audience, if they are thinking about starting in histology or becoming a histotech?
I would say definitely, first of all, go for it. It's an
Mhm.
awesome field to be in. There are lots of jobs. Obviously,
Mhm.
there's a shortage for a good amount of time.
Mhm.
There are a lot of different labs you can work in. So it's
Mhm.
not always the same thing. And one thing that was really interesting to me was I didn't find out until like I was halfway through my program was that travel histotechs exist.
Mhm. Yeah.
So there's like something for everyone. No matter what kind of person you are, there's something for you in histology. And it just, yeah, it's just, I would, I could say so many good things about being
Are
a his.
you thinking about traveling?
I a little bit was thinking about it because it seems great. Like it seems like a very interesting part of histology just because you get
Mhm.
to see different labs, which I think is nice. You
Mhm.
get to learn different things. At this moment, probably not, but maybe in the
Right.
future. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I actually just bought a house like a couple days ago. Um,
Congratulations.
it's crazy,
That's a
but
big deal.
I know being a real adult. But I would
You're
say
you're adulting now.
so. I don't plan on like leaving anytime soon, but
But you do know, but I'm not sure, like, but you do know, as a traveler, you just because you don't have to leave your house. So
yeah,
you
yeah,
can go do an assignment and then just still come back
right.
home. But
Yeah,
you know,
I'm just not ready for all that right now.
yeah.
I
I
do.
understand.
I would like to try it at least for even if you do one assignment,
Right.
it's a new place. You get to see new things. You get to meet new people. You get to
Mhm.
learn new things,
Mhm.
and so that's cool. But I feel like there's something in it for everyone. And
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, it's a career that you can be proud of. It's a career you can put a lot into, and you'll get a lot out of it. It's
That's
not.
what's up.
It's going to be interesting. Every day is different. No matter
Every day is different.
it doesn't matter if you're cutting GIs for 12 hours, you're going to have a GI that's just drives you insane,
Mhm.
that's really brittle, and like you
Mhm.
can't get a good section, whatever. Every day is different. And I think it's why it's a good career choice. It's interesting. Like you're doing the same basics, but every
Right.
day you're never getting bored. That's for sure.
You're never getting bored. Is your atmosphere fun? Like, you guys get to, like, listen to music while
Yeah.
you work, or it's just like, I think it's like that rush too, especially when it's like the early morning and you're getting
Right.
those priorities done and you're getting them out
Yep.
the door, they're coming off the processor, and
Yeah.
you're just like in that rush, like, okay, the courier's coming, or
Right.
you taking your slides, or it's just like, but then like you said, once you get like throughout your day, you just like, oh my God, like I feel good. Like I actually like I
Right.
got through this day. It was hella crazy, but then the next day can be not as crazy.
Right. It's everything every day is different, which I think is definitely why it's a good field to get into. You will never be bored. There's no
Never,
no way you will ever be bored. So
never.
yeah, I guess my advice would be go for it. Just do it.
Well, you know what? That's a good advice because you won't know unless you do it.
Right.
And
And if you
just
don't like
weighs all your pros and cons.
it, you still got the certification out of it. So
Yeah,
that's
and just weigh all your pros and cons. Like, if
yeah.
you think that you're ready for a career change, like, what can you really lose, you
Right.
know? All right, you guys. So we're going to go ahead and get to the question part of our segment because we want to make sure that we can answer some questions here. If you want to be a part of Tech Talk, of course, you can email me at thelabgirlcircle@gmail.com. And let's go ahead and read some questions for Susanna. K Poo says, hi, you guys. Hey,
Hey.
what's up? All right. So the next question they asked is, why did either of you choose histology versus MLT? I was originally going to do MLT until my school added a histology program, but I was curious what you guys thought were better about histology. I don't know a lot about MLT, the career. That's medical lab. What? No, what is MLT?
Yeah. So medical lab tech.
Medical lab tech.
Yeah, because I think they have MLS too, and it's like
MLS, yeah, and
something like
CLS.
yeah.
Yes, a whole bunch of LSs.
Right.
Um, well, first of all, I don't know the difference between those and histology. I do know clinical lab. I think they do like a whole bunch of different stuff. I don't know what you guys do, but um, I just I'm just gonna say I chose histology probably because it's just more. I guess like a how can I put it? I feel like it's more direct, like I know like what I'm going to do. So I don't know like what you guys do. Maybe I don't know, maybe I don't feel like I'm smart enough. I don't know.
Oh, let's see. My where I work now, they actually do have like a medical program, like an MLT program.
Right.
And I just, you know what kept me away from it, honestly, is that they do a rotation like through phlebotomy, and I'm terrible with blood.
Okay, so let me piggyback off that then because not trying to touch your blood.
No.
I'm straight on that. So
Right.
maybe okay, because we already see enough gross things. Like if you grossed anything, or I get fresh specimens for frozens and stuff like that. Like at least it's a tiny, and I've done derm, I've done Mohs. You get like a huge chunk
Uh-huh.
of skin with the hair still on
No,
it, and I have to like
talk about hair, man.
section it.
Ugh.
So now imagine me with your blood. Like I'm straight.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm sure some people love it. Not that I think it's
Yeah,
boring.
it's just
Don't
not for me.
It's just not for me. Yeah, I think I'm a lot more interested in tissue and
Yeah.
organs. And I started off as an assistant when I moved to this department to go to school. I started off as an assistant in our gross room, um,
See,
helping.
so you're used to seeing. I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like you're right. It's like really, what's the difference? So if I see, just say a colon. I
Right,
mean, it looks just as gross.
right.
Like
I
as
don't
some blood. At least
know
blood is in the
about it.
tube.
I just think it's very interesting.
I think it's interesting too. So, um,
I
I
think
used to
weirdos kind of go to histo, is what it is.
right, right. So I think like I don't know like why I chose. I never was in the battle between the two. So if
Yeah,
you are someone who are in CLS or MLT, or you're at school trying to figure out which program, I guess I wasn't never in that situation to where I had to like choose between something. I
right.
just chose histology.
Yeah. And like there are some interesting parts to me as a med tech,
Hmm.
but it's just I am 100% interested in histology, I think
Me
is what
too. Because histology, I feel like I can turn on while I'm there, and then like as soon as I leave the door, I could turn off. I'm not really sure. I think with those type of departments, and I can be wrong. And I know people who are in CLS and virology and stuff like that, but it's like I really don't have enough time to ask them. That's why maybe I can have them on my show. But I just don't know. Like I feel like they have like projects, like, especially when like COVID was like really COVID, they were slammed with
Yes, 1,000%.
like like
Yeah,
slammed.
right. Yeah,
Like histology had like slowed down because people wasn't getting biopsies because
I'll-
of COVID, but like they were slammed with specimens, like,
bro was slammed like they nonstop.
nonstop, girl. Like they're the heroes for real.
I swear. Yeah.
Right. So
Respect for med techs. It's just not my
period. It's not my thing either. So the fact I feel like they had more like cases that they had to probably like hold on to and like follow it. Even though I
right,
follow my cases to the not to the end, but like I complete everything from the
right.
processing to the embedding and cutting special stains, which you do too.
Yeah.
I feel like with them, they literally had like maybe a couple hundred cases that they
Right.
had to like
Following through.
until you're negative or positive for
Yeah.
COVID
For days.
for days,
And then for weeks and then
for
for months
weeks. And
and
then now it's just like a rapid thing at home now.
right.
So
Right.
like before the rapid thing, it was them.
Yeah. Like
So shout out to
good job guys. You made it
good
through.
job, baby. Because I would have been, they was offering overtime and everything. I would have been at home. Like, good
I
job. Did
swear.
you work during COVID? We had to work we worked the whole time.
Yeah, I ended up working the whole
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Very, very, very blessed and lucky that
Yeah.
we still had, a job during that time. So yeah, shout out to, like you said, like the other, like that's why I honestly don't know the difference, or but I just know I chose histology. But if you're someone probably who like that extra excitement, I'm gonna just say that, because it seems like it's not just like the redundant of like embedding, cutting, boom. I
Right.
feel like it's more like we say, it's more like an array of diseases or viruses, or
That's a lot.
it's a lot. So, good luck with that.
You
I wish,
and make your decision based on what you feel you are more interested in.
yeah, not just based upon money. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you can get it in for the money, but then what if it just drains you, or what if, you know,
Very repetitive or whatever it is,
right?
could be that way too. So,
It could be that way too. And histology does get paid good.
yeah.
So, and you're able to advance, and you're able to, in your lab, do you have like, histo 1, 2, 3, or everyone's just like histo technician or histo technologist? Like, how does that?
Yeah, that's basically the only difference. Some of us have different titles than the other,
Right.
but in terms of what we do at work, it's all the same.
It's all the same. And that's why I'm glad, because you're HTL and I'm HT, but that's why, I make sure people understand, like, honestly, like if we was to really say, okay, what's the difference between the HT and the HTL? You know what I'm saying? I think it's really all about your career path and what you know,
Right.
because yeah, it's not guaranteed that HTL is going to get paid more than the HT,
Right.
or it's not guaranteed that, they know more than the HT, because
Exactly.
we all do literally the same thing, but
Yeah.
maybe if you want to become a lead or a
Yeah. Or
supervisor, then
supervisor. Really the only difference,
the
pretty much.
QHRC, yeah, that's really pretty much the difference. So it's
Yeah.
good to have these type of talks, because it depends on what you're doing in your lab, and basically like what your experience is,
Right.
right? So yeah, good question, K Poo, if I said your name right, and Elizabeth. Hey, Elizabeth. What's up, Elizabeth? She says, question: if I wanted to eventually relocate from New York to another state to practice histology, would I need to take the exam again for that specific state, or would a certificate be sufficient?
That is not anything I'm familiar with because I'm strictly Indiana. I
Indiana. Did you need Indiana is just, they don't have a state license. No. Um okay, Elizabeth. So basically, I think you and I probably talked about this before on other lives, but it just depends on what state you're going to. So, of course, Florida, Nevada, and New York are going to have a state license. The only thing is, you won't need to take the ASCP for the state license. You just have to apply for the state license through what is it, through, I guess, like through that, what's the name of, like not the board, but
but
um
I'm like, yeah, pretty
What's the healthcare? What's the thing called? Shit.
much. Google, help.
Right. Hey Siri, what's the you should know this. Oh shit, Siri came up too. My bad, Siri. I don't but like the department, like I know Florida's like the Florida Department of something, like where your license is registered at. So I forgot the name of it. I'll get back to you, Elizabeth. But my bad. So, but you need to so just say if you want to apply for a Nevada license or you want to apply for a Florida license, you just have to go and apply for that state. You don't have to take the ASCP again. You're already ASCP board certified, so you're good. And I know you had a derm interview. I'm trying to tell you, Susanna. I've been knowing these. I try to make sure I know who I know my audience. I'm weird like that because this is a close like community. Like
Everyone kind of generally knows.
we're gonna know each other. We're gonna know each other.
Right.
Have you been to your first conference yet, like ASCP conference, or are you interested in going to those?
I've been interested in doing it. I think maybe I will try to do one, maybe like
Yeah,
next week or something.
yeah.
Just because it'd be interesting to get to be out there and meet more people like us, you know?
I know. They say that our community is really small, but honestly, like I don't know a lot of histotechs.
Right. I know who I work with, and I know you.
That's it. That's it. We know 6 people, so
Right.
that's it.
I have a friend who is a travel histotech, but other than that,
Oh, there was a traveler at your lab.
no, she's one of my family friend. She
Oh,
once
what's her name? Let me see if I know her. What's her name?
her name is Marcy.
I know Marcy.
she yeah, she kind of messaged. She reached out to me after I
I
announced.
know her. No, I know her.
Well, tell him, shout her out. Hey, girl.
She black?
No,
Oh, no,
never mind. Wrong one. Sorry, Marcy. Wrong Marcy, but I have a Marcy too.
maybe her name. Oh no, never mind. Her name Mercy. God dang
Oh,
it, my bad. Sorry, Marcy.
oops, sorry.
Oops, you're
Any-
not black. I'm sorry.
anyway, no, yeah. She kind of reached out to me when I first announced that I was certified, that I passed my exam, and
Mm-hmm.
she like giving me tips because she's a travel person. She's like, I don't know if you've ever heard of this before, but like
Mm-hmm.
this is what I do, and she was kind of telling me her experience with it. But other than that, like I said, I only know the people I work with. That's it.
Does Marcy know you're on the show?
No, I think I'm gonna put it on my Facebook and advertise it.
Yeah, and tell Marcy Marcy if you watching. I'm
Mar-
sorry, I didn't know who you was. I thought your name was Mercy. But
oh,
listen,
Marcy, email her.
Marcy, email me so we can talk to you. I want you on the show. You're a travel histotech, and guess what?
Experience, man.
You got experience. There's a lot of people who reach out to me about travel,
Yeah.
and if you want to lend your expertise, I think it'd be fun, for you to come on the show. And if you want to have Susanna back on the show with you, we can make it a little threesome.
Yeah, let's do it.
We can do that. So yeah, hit her up.
I
See if
will.
she'll
I'll
be
let her know.
interested.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
let
let her know. See if she'll be interested in coming on so we can actually, I want to interview her. That'd be
her. Right?
cool.
Yeah, I want to know her story too because we haven't
Oh
really like
yeah,
fully
that'd be
talked
good.
about it, but I would like to know kind of
You
how
think
she
she'll
same thing
you
how
think
she.
she'll do it?
I
You think she'll do it?
don't know. I gotta let her know. I
Let
think
her
she
know.
should be open to it. She seems very.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like
let her know. Yeah, post this on your Facebook. That's cool.
yeah.
All right, let's see. We got another question. Tony says, I have back issues and I'm not and I have back issues. Is it the wine now? I have back issues. Okay, I have back issues and I'm about to start histology school. Does histology consist of hard labor? What you think, Susanna?
I'm gonna say no.
Right. I agree with you.
No. I think the hardest thing might be like dumping maybe like your waste at the end of the
Right.
day, but it's not anywhere
It's
near.
not gonna be strenuous on your back.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you.
Like you
If
can
you
sit
got back
your
issues,
day pretty much if you
yeah,
want.
if you got back issues and something is heavy or something like that, then they're probably going to tell you not to pick it up.
Right.
A lot of people, when they don't work in the lab or they're not familiar, they'll apply for a job and then they'll be like, "Oh, I didn't know I was going to smell xylene, or I
Right.
didn't know I was going to smell formalin." Like, okay, bro, you're going to smell this stuff. Of course, don't be inhaling the formalin,
Right.
but
Rough.
you do, yeah. but you do work in a lab where, that's going to be a part of your job. So
Yeah.
you're going to probably smell some type of chemical. But as far as your back, as far as histology is not hard labor. But whenever you go to like embed and cut, you just want some type of like ergonomics. Get up and stretch. Get up
Yeah.
and walk around. I know we can. We can walk
Right.
around. We can stretch. We can get up and stand. Whatever you want to do,
Right.
but just don't be hunched over.
Yeah. Don't do that. It's not good for you.
It's not good for you. Even when you're driving or at home, like just don't
Yeah.
just try to
Sit up straight.
sit,
Everyone,
sit up
everyone
straight,
right now, sit up straight.
sit up straight. Yeah. But it's not hard labor at all. Hard labor is like you're in the warehouse.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Yeah. You'll be sitting down. So, but I know people with back problems that probably hurts their back when they sit down a lot. So
Yeah,
just
we're able to stand too.
yeah, just stand, get a comfortable chair because they're really good with like
Right.
maybe ordering you a chair or maybe you need
Hmm.
a comfortable chair. We sit on stools. A lot of us got stools.
Yep. There's
So
the fatigue mats, uh,
yeah, the fatigue mats.
yeah.
Go
Yeah.
outside, walk during your lunch breaks. Let them know, hey, my back hurt. I'm gonna take a stretch. Like we be stretching at work. Like
I stretch at work sometimes too. I'll be
we
like,
do.
when I'm by myself, it's a little slow.
hmm
I'm like up on the wall, like stretching my
That
arm
we do that too.
back.
So yeah, you don't have to just be stuck at a position, and you do a lot of walking around, like getting up, sitting
Yeah.
down, walking around. So that may be a little strenuous on you if you're not. Worst, make sure you have good shoes.
Yes.
That's like really just really important because you will be on your feet
Right.
for like half of the day, maybe or all day, or you may sit down like once or twice, throughout the day. Because I don't cut a lot, so I'm mostly like on my feet a lot. If I sit down, it's like maybe answering my emails or maybe I am cutting something, but I'm not a person who just I don't cut in the bed anymore like that. So it's just more me walking around doing special stains or immunos or something like that. It
Right.
just depends on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. She says, Elizabeth says, yeah, I totally forgot since that was long ago. Is it a off? Is it Office of Professions?
Uh, yeah. For your license.
I don't know. Hold on. Oh, I know what it is. Florida for Florida, it was like Florida Department of Health. That's like where you're registered at. So maybe look up if you want to come to Florida, look up Florida Department of Health, or just move to another state where there is no
Right. There
license.
you go. That's it.
Or just travel, take a travel assignment because I know you live in New York. Like I think you always, it's not like I think she also told me like because she doesn't go as fast like you was talking about earlier, they don't give her work because she's not
Mm.
fast. So they're like holding her back.
Right. No, you gotta venture out. How are you gonna get better?
Period.
Yeah.
So maybe you should just take some travel assignments. That way you can still stay in New York and just take some travel assignments and just travel around. Because if you take a travel assignment and if you go to a state that requires a license, the travel company actually pays for that. And they'll actually register you for your license. But if you just go to Indiana or if you come to like if you go to Georgia, if you go to, Chicago, whatever, they don't need license. Just take a
Good.
travel assignment. Just take a travel assignment and then you go back home because at least you can be able to get you some experience. Because I think they're hindering her, my opinion, based upon what she told me, that
Hmm.
they won't let her cut because they only give her like I guess like big specimens to cut because they don't trust her cutting anything else. But the only way she's going to
You're gonna learn. The only way you'll learn is by doing it.
by doing it. Period.
Yeah. I mean, I know when I was kind of first starting, before I was cutting like GIs, we actually went through and made like little sample blocks for me to practice on.
Practice
So
blocks are important.
practice. Get
Yeah, practice blocks are important.
whatever
Yeah,
it takes. Get to
yeah, but she's going to need to be somewhere where they let her do that.
right, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause we'll
or
get
she's not going to grow.
yeah.
Yeah.
All the skills
Um,
we get.
she said, "Yeah, I'll start Durham Path in 3 weeks on 27." Okay, so good thing is, you're going to be starting a new job,
Yep.
and I think that's a blessing in disguise, honestly, because you've always voiced your concern about how they won't allow you to do new things, and I love Durham. So Durham is going to be very interesting for you to do, and then that can catapult you to doing Moe's, Frozen's. You just never know, and if you can embed some Durhams, you can embed any damn thing,
I,
honestly.
yeah, really.
Yeah, so you should be good with that. Congratulations though on your new
Yeah.
job.
Luck.
Yeah, congratulations. Let's see here. Okay, so Tony says, good. These questions are coming in, Suzanne. I'm gonna let you go.
Go on.
Okay. She says, good. I've been compounding pharmacy technician for 16 years and ready to change careers. What you think about that?
Do it.
And I
Go.
don't even know I don't even know what a compounding pharmacy tech is, but I
Like
wanted to be a pharmacist. It's probably getting all the pills, probably putting them in the
that's
bottle.
what I'm thinking, maybe. But yeah, go for it. If you're ready to change careers, I mean, it's very interesting.
Right.
It's an art. If you're
And
interested,
that
go
that
for it.
compounding pharmacy thing, she probably is on her feet more because that's like, it's probably cramped back there with all the medication. She's probably
Yeah.
on her feet all the time filling orders.
Right. Yeah. Like that's a lot of standing, walking.
Right. Try and like reading a whole bunch of like little writing and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. That's a very complex job. So kudos to you.
Right.
But yeah, 16 years and you're ready to change careers. Why
Do
not?
do it. You know
Do
what?
it.
Time is gonna pass anyway.
You
You
only
might
live once.
do it. You might as well do
Might as
it.
well. We just beat a pandemic almost. Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. Look it.
That's me and Susanna tip. Just do it. She says now Elizabeth says they only let her cut surgicals.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so you gotta get out of
You
that.
gotta get out, girl.
Mm-hmm.
She says, and they will only allow me to work 1 day a week. So you
Girl,
ain't get no money and they only give me surgicals.
get out of there.
Bye bye.
Red flags.
Period. So, but now you're on to some new things.
Yep,
She says, thank you. I'm nervous, but looking forward to new experiences. Yeah, definitely look forward to new experiences. That's the only way you're going to grow and, be confident in what you're doing.
definitely.
She said, no, it's making medicine.
Okay, smarty.
That's cool.
I know. Like, all right, but yeah, you did it for 16 years. Take your next step.
Okay, we get it. We get it. We know you're smart.
We get it. We get
We
it.
get it. You're technically a drug connoisseur.
Yeah,
You technically know how to make illegal drugs.
something. But yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Go for it.
No time like today.
It really isn't. But yeah, I think that's all of our questions. We're gonna let Susanna go. I really appreciate yeah, we hit like an hour and 30 minutes. So you guys have been awesome. I mean, I really appreciate you guys joining the live and asking these questions. I really, can't thank you guys enough for being a part of Tech Talk episode 2. This has been great. I'm very, very happy.
Me too. It's nice to talk about people who care about.
Who cares? I'm very thankful to you, Susanna, for allowing me to interviewing you and you like want to be on the show. And I couldn't thank you enough because this is awesome and you're going to help so many people and you've helped so many people. So yeah, if you want to post this on your Facebook or Instagram,
I
wherever,
don't know. I'm gonna be advertising out where
that's it. They
it's
need to watch. They need to watch the episode. Yeah,
something.
they need to watch the episode. And if you guys want to be a part of course, the show Tech Talk, email me at thelabgirlsoccer@gmail.com. And Susanna, again, thank you so much for being a part of my show. I really enjoyed talking with you.
And
This is
thank
not going to be our last time that we talk.
our
Promise you.
updated our updated information, not them 1999 videos that we're watching.
That's it, baby.
Come on,
Listen, we're making this is our own lane here.
look it.
This
Come
is this
on,
is this is the new generation.
look at us youngins.
We're doing it.
We're taking
We're,
it
we
in.
we ain't making pills, but we
Yeah.
doing this. But
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on. And I would. Oh, hold on. We got 2 more comments for you.
Oh,
Oh, never mind. This is the thing. It
stop.
says she said, "Thank you guys. Thank you for joining Tony and Elizabeth and everybody who's watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for your questions. If you have any other questions for Susanna after you watch this Tech Talk episode later, I will hopefully be having Susanna back on the show
Oh my.
and we can, go back and answer more questions for you guys. And yeah, if you guys know anyone who want to be part of the show, you know any other lab professional, share this video with your friends, share this video with other HISTOTECH or lab professionals, and let's just go ahead and
let's,
get ready for episode
let's
3.
man. Yeah.
Let's do it. Thank you, Susanna.
Thanks. It was
It
nice
was
talking.
nice talking to you. I'll talk to you later.
You know it.
Bye.
Bye.